it's not the era of World War as well, because you see it can be an era of war, but it is not an era of World War. The reason that I say this with conviction is that during World War II, there were prominently many countries which had two different set of ideologies, and they got together and they fought against each other as teams or as groups. But over so many years since World War II till date, it has come to light that majority of the countries are now self-centered. They are basically concerned about their own development and their own people. The mindset of land grabbing is no more existent. It's very limited or very less. So you see, and moreover, the previous wars were fought between democracies and the communists. But now, you see, the pattern is almost similar, but nobody's coming out in the open because everybody in Europe, or be it Russia, all the countries have experienced what World War II was like, what was the price that they all had to pay. And keeping everything in mind, I think every country is there for its own stand and for its own survival and policies of survival, be it political, economical, social, or be it trade. Everything and anything that is related to a country's personal upgradation is the priority, and not what another friend would be wanting from another country. So I think if you see, there have been a lot of growing differences in ideas between the Americans and the British, between the French and the Germans. You know, so I think that the G5, the main five countries, all have their independent agendas. They have their own independent priorities in terms of development and progress. So I don't think that anybody is going to encourage anybody to go to war until unless a certain country has very serious issues. For example, Russia and Ukraine, they did have a lot of issues, especially when it came to NATO and NATO's membership, which would have resulted in NATO being at the borders of Russia had Ukraine joined NATO. So you see the provocations and from where they are originating, everybody is aware of it. And it is not that Russia did this war by choice. They were forced to get into a war against Ukraine because of the non-aligned priorities and policies of the European Union. So the European Union should have been well aware. And when President Trump came into power, the first thing that President Trump gave a statement was that now European Union has to pay up for the protection that it was getting from NATO, which is probably given a lot of jitters and made Europe very nervous. That when it is come now that it is time for they themselves to protect their own countries rather than depending upon world powers like USA, because everybody's feeling the crunch. You see, be it economical. US exiting Afghanistan was something like a Vietnam Part 2. So there was a lot of embarrassment for USA to have exited Afghanistan after so much of money and resources pumped in. And Pakistan, ISI having the blood of the American and the British soldiers on their hands. Despite all this, and post Op Sindoor, America still chooses to side with a rogue state like Pakistan. Uh, Clearly showcases a poor sense of advice and judgment by the advisors of President Trump's political party. So, world politics is changing overnight. And as we can see, the Israeli war against Iran was pre planned. The day President Trump took over office, he gave 60 days for Iran to comply and to come on the negotiating table for the nuclear deal, and which was not complied with. And on the 61st day, the war began. So that means that whatever negotiations were happening with Iran were done in anticipation that Iran would definitely slow the negotiation process so that it could buy more time for its centrifuge enrichment of the uranium for a nuclear bomb. And the day on 13th of June, the International Atomic Energy Committee gave a statement that yes, Iran has been in violation of its nuclear program. Was the same night that an attack by Israel took place, which comprised of 200 fighter aircrafts alone, and targeting all the important nuclear sites and the missile bases of Iran as on date. And in retaliation for Iran and its ideology, they have targeted all the civilian areas of Israel, and so as well as the economical hubs, for example, the Haifa port and the important research and governing buildings of the Israeli government have been hit overnight, including many residential areas. So, God forbid that Iran doesn't have information of the bomb shelters where majority of the Israeli public goes to take shelter, else the body count would have been very high and extremely large number of casualties would have taken place. So that is the only saving grace that Israel has at the moment. Otherwise, as far as damage, suffering, be it political, social, economical, will take place on both the ends, be it Iran or Israel. As far as Israel is concerned, they have man-made technology. As far as Iran is concerned, it has got enormous amount of natural resources of natural gas and oil reserves. And Israel attacking these assets, these world resources, as we call it, the black oil or the black assets, they are going to hit Iran's economical mainstay structure, and is also going to affect Qatar's economy because Qatar's majority of the oil comes from Iran. And the Pars oil field, which has been hit last night by Israel, is going to have repercussions. And as far as geopolitics is concerned, there are going to be more, the momentum of attacks on Israel will increase by the day from Iran. It is not necessary that it will be launched from the Iranian soil. It can be done from Lebanon, it can be done from Syria, it can be done from Egypt or any other Arab countries which are surrounding Israel. So I think the dynamics have changed. No country is going to come out in the open to render support to Iran, be it Russia or be it China, whereas informations have come in that Chinese military aircrafts with air defense systems and missiles has landed in Iran to render it support. But as I am, re-emphasizing on the point, no country is going to come out in the open and say that they're going to support Iran. But in a long haul, it is going to get ugly by the day because none of the countries, be it Israel or Iran, want to sit on the negotiating table. And the odds are very real for Ayatollah, the Khamenei, Sayyid Khamenei, to be assassinated, maybe in a matter of days or weeks or maybe a month. But this is going to pick up momentum, and the damages that are going to take place are going to be enormous. As far as Israel is concerned, it has made it very clear and requested the people of Iran to stay away from military areas. So we can clearly define the mindset of a democratic country and that of Iran, which has been targeting, the public places, public buildings, including the Haifa port, the economical hub of Israel. So I think coming days are going to be very critical when it comes to Israel and the Iran war. It is 101% that the Americans will intervene, but right now the matter is being contained by Israel. But the moment the momentum increases from Iran's side in attacking Israel, and when the US feels that there is now a little bit of overwhelming force against Israel, that is the time when the Americans are 101% going to get into this war in a maybe a undeclared manner, which it already is by supporting Israel and by providing it the latest of missile and weapon systems. But you see, with the due course of time, I strongly feel that Americans will not be keen to make a public announcement to go against Iran, because that is where a possibility of World War III might arise, where countries will pick sides. Because you see, Iran has a very critical element, that is the natural resource which keeps many countries' economies running at a time of inflation. So India is also one of the largest democracy of the world, which is dependent on Iranian fuel. And there are different ways and means of buying the Iranian oil. I mean, the Russians are now importing large quantities of Iranian oil to do the business on behalf of Iran. And that is where India is buying huge quantities of oil from Russia. So definitely, indirectly, it is going to pinch all the countries which are heavily dependent upon the natural resources from Iran.